All right, let's start with wind. Well, we won't start with wind. We'll start with some high clouds, and then we'll eventually get to the wind where things are relatively quiet at this point as far as cloud cover goes. Again, a few of these clouds kind of filtering the sunshine at times, but still a nice day. We are starting to see the winds crank up. Those winds will continue to crank up over the next 24 hours. That's why there is a high wind watch in effect across the Northeast, into the East Mountains and through Torrance County. Also out into west central sections, we have the high wind watch too. Now, what we're likely to see here is at least some high wind warnings for tomorrow. The reason you have a watch is because the real strong winds are still about 12 to 18 hours away. So that's why it's a watch and not a warning. And then as we get into tomorrow, likely to see wind advisories here in central and northwestern sections too. So we'll get that combination of wind advisories, high wind warnings, along with red flag warnings across the area. And those red flag warnings mean basically we are susceptible to the possibility of getting some fires going here, especially in lower elevations where grass dries out very quickly. And we've got that scenario in place. 75 degrees in the metro. Southwest winds 21. Wind gusts, though, to 30 miles an hour right now. 68 in Santa Fe, 64 Las Vegas, 80s Tucumcari down through Roswell and over to Deming. 77 in TRC and 60s around Gallup and Grant. You throw the winds into the mix here. Some of the windiest spots in the state, usually places like Ruidoso, are very windy for today. 38 miles an hour there. 30 in Las Vegas. Winds have come down a little bit there. Gallup about 35. Now, throughout the night tonight, the winds will not stay at peak levels throughout the overnight hours. They'll actually get stronger later on in the day tomorrow, but we are going to see them remain at least breezy to windy through the overnight. And you can see some of those high clouds pushing through now, but throughout the night, don't be surprised if we clear those skies out a bit in advance of the next storm system, which is coming its way here, or at least going to our north. So what we get for tonight is occasionally windy conditions with southwesterly winds setting up again for tomorrow. Blowing dust will be a concern across the area as this storm system goes well to our north. We'll just have to watch out for that blowing dust. And then into Thursday, the bigger story will be the cooling temperatures and the calming winds. As far as cooling temperatures go, going to end up being about around 10 degrees cooler than what we saw today and yesterday. And then getting into the day on Friday, temperatures start to boost up again. Right now, it appears as if any storm issues will be held off until next week here, so we're going to remain dry. As far as the winds go overnight, again, spotty pockets of 30-mile-an-hour winds at a gust will be a possibility, but then notice tomorrow evening we are ramping up those winds. Northern mountains back into west central sections, southern mountains in the Albuquerque metro area too. Wind gusts 40-plus miles an hour will be a possibility. Then during the day Thursday, as you can see here, the winds come down and things far better as far as tolerable winds go. 53 in Durango, 51 in Pagosa Springs, partly cloudy and breezy. Southwest winds 15 to 25, so not off the charts there. Warm and windy across the northwest with gusts up to 45 miles an hour. Plenty of sunshine, but the winds will crank up a bit tomorrow. 60s and 70s across the southwest. The southeast, warm and windy with a few clouds out there. Temperatures in the 80s, wind gusts up to 45 miles an hour. You want the extreme wind? It's up across the northeast, 55 miles an hour here. Northern mountains going to see those gusts up to 55 too. 62 in Taos for a temperature. 68 in Espanola. Down to the East Mountains, it will be windy here with the wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour and temperatures hanging in the 60s. Sunny and windy here in the Albuquerque metro area with gusts as high as 45 miles an hour. Extended forecast. The good news is the winds come down and so do the temperatures on Thursday with a high of 66.
All right. Thank you, Mark.